morning and welcome to episode 110 of Cover 2 Cook. We got some NFL news, not much. A lot of people are at home, so not many news is happening. We have the NHL Stanley Cup finished up, just like I said. We got to talk about the NBA as tonight, Thursday night as we're recording, plays a game, so that might be over as well by the time we get back on the podcast. And then we're finishing with the Mount Rushmore of TV shows. Now, the caveat to that is you have to have watched it. So not something that's on Google, what you've watched. So let's get it started.
Yeah, I was going to do a vertical jump there. Thank you, Socks.
Travel been to Indiana, and did Cover 2 Cook get you a good hotel?
Indiana? No, I'm in Louisiana. I'm getting Mardi Gras.
I know that this might be hard, but I don't know how much you remember Friday night since we left you damn near when you fell asleep.
I got my belly full, man. I was like, I warm covers and warm. I was like, I could go to sleep right now.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Jack Dorsey.
Final answer?
Yes. All right.
This is going to be a long fucking day.
All right. Thank you so much for listening to episode 110. So we got to start off with the NFL as NFL's king. Jair Alexander, we just talked about he got released from Green Bay. Well, he's got a new home already in the Baltimore Ravens. You know, if you ain't got enough, just go get more, huh? Out there. Baltimore, I think, is a good home for him. I think it's a good situation. I also think Baltimore did it because they have to extend Lamar Jackson eventually and just going out and saying, hey, we'll go get these guys. But do I think this changes whether they win a Super Bowl or not? Probably not. Like, honestly, I don't know what this situation, because I saw a linebacker for them just retired as well, so they're losing someone by gaining someone. But what did you think about hearing about this?
Yeah, another DB for them. Like they don't have enough. It's unreal. Maybe they're in it to win it this year. Eventually he's got to get. I would think he's got to get over the hump. At least get to an AFC. I guess he's been to an AFC championship, but he's got it. One more piece. But here's the deal: Jair's got to stay healthy.
Yep.
He hasn't done that in the last couple of years, so you got to stay healthy, buddy. And maybe they'll plug him in and nickel and dime. Play him. Maybe not every snap, but they'll at least play him quite a bit. In that division, you've got, Cincinnati with T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. You've got. Not so much Pittsburgh, but Cleveland. Cleveland. You have one person in Cleveland and Jerry Jeudy, but that's about it. But if you want to play up against the Kansas Cities and Miami's and stuff like that, you got to have more bullets in your chamber.
Yeah, no, when you do say Pittsburgh, you got to think DK Metcalf's there now.
Yeah.
So in their division, it makes sense. But like when I was thinking of like Buffalo, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like. Who is he guarding? Like Stephon Diggs back in the day, but now they don't really have that superstar wide receiver. And then the Chiefs, maybe there's someone there. So that's why when I was thinking of like who they're actually contending with AFC championships / go to the Super Bowl, but maybe that is where you're thinking Bengals. Like, hey, like the Bengals said they're going to go out and get wide receivers. We're going to go get a DB, and hopefully that DB can shut down one of the two guys. Or slow him down. Maybe not shut him down, but slow him down.
And also, too, Anthony, if they were to make it to the Super Bowl, coming out of the NFC, you've got Philadelphia.
Yep.
You've got Detroit. You've got the Rams. You've got a lot of good wide receivers in that other division in the NFC that if they were to make it to a Super Bowl, he would be a great matchup. Especially if somebody out of the NFC North came to the Super Bowl. He'd know them. So, I definitely keep. But they got to get over Kansas City, Buffalo, you say. It's just there's a lot of teams they got to get over the hump to get to the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Well, and don't forget about those Vikings either. I don't know why people are sleeping on them. Because I think that's going to be my future bet is their win-loss record. Because I think people are sleeping on them. At the same time, J.J. McCarthy, we'll see.
You might get pretty good odds for him.
Yeah. Well, in other news, Shadur Sanders has been clocked going over 100 miles an hour, gets another speeding ticket. If this guy can't find a way to get in the news, he'll make his own way, huh? What do you think about hearing about this?
And what I just heard today is this is his second speeding ticket in the last couple of weeks. You're a 5th-round draft pick, my friend. wake up.
Yeah.
Because guess what? They can release you tomorrow.
Yep.
And they wouldn't have to pay a dime on your contract other than the guaranteed money. Now, don't say that he's going to be released tomorrow, but that sure does look like for Dylan Gabriel that keep their nose clean. It looks pretty good for him. You know, when you, anytime that, whether you be a football player or anything at work, you know there's a big event coming up, like he's trying out for the football team. Because that's what he is. He's trying out for the football team. He is probably the 30th or 40th best player on a team. He's trying out for this team. And anytime, I know you've been at work, you know there's a big thing coming up. You keep your nose clean. You don't mess around. And this kid just seems like it'll just work itself out. It'll just do whatever. You can't, man. You may just fall behind Dylan Gabriel right now. You might be the last man you may be the first one cut.
Yeah, I think what frustrates me the most about it is like Rashid Rice, right? You had the racing and, kill someone. And then you have Henry Ruggs,
Henry Ruggs, yep.
And then killed someone. Like, stop. Yep. Like, I don't get where, and maybe this is on the NFL, really, in all retrospect of it, is like maybe start punishing these players significantly for these off-the-field activities. I mean, I just, like, when we go to work, and if you would get a $100 or $100-mile-an-hour speeding ticket, your company might consider getting rid of you. Like, it's just, stop doing this. Like, you're in the limelight. You are doing the dream that so many people have, dreamed of, and you have this opportunity, and like you said, you are trying to make a team, because you're not the first-round draft pick. You're not a second, third. You're a fifth-round draft pick, okay? Like, I don't care what your last name is. Try to make and this is everything already just coming back on me for the draft. I was like, yo, make a name for yourself. Make them pay everything. And then you see this and you're like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Like, Jordan Addison's going to have to deal with whatever repercussions of this. Rashid Rice still has to deal with his shit. Like, there's all these people that have to deal with it. Just
Henry Ruggs, yeah.
I mean, and Henry Ruggs might get signed by a team because he's supposed to go on probation and stuff. Like, stop favoring these people of being able to say, hey, like, you're an athlete, so we're just going to give you the benefit of the doubt. I mean, you understand why some of these people don't be a fan of the NFL or sports in general because of shit like this.
And it only took one person to pull out in front of them.
Yes.
I mean, I seen a video over the weekend of a truck that pulled out in front of a semi, and the semi had to run off the side of the road, hit a stop sign, and luckily he didn't hit him. It's just like, come on. I mean, the guy just pulls up right out in front of him. He almost got T-boned. I mean, it was bad. I mean, it's just, that's just everyday life. But I mean, if somebody would have pulled out in front of you, or, you guys just come on. I mean, you're not above the law. Don't stop doing this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Where did you have to go that fast, in that hurry? And if not, why don't you leave your house a little bit sooner? That's the old man. That's the old man coming out of me. Leave sooner.
Well, and then I guess I'm an old man too, and because I don't understand. There was one where Jordan Addison had over 100 miles an hour or whatever, and it was because his dog was choking. He was taken to a vet. Everyone was like, okay, that makes a little. I'm sorry, but like at the same time, you're risking so many people on the road and their situation because of it. I mean, how disrespectful is it to the Rashid Rice, or what Rashid Rice did with that family that got hit? And then now you hear this and you're like, oh, it's a second ticket. Oh, no, come on, stop. Like, how many people got to like get affected personally with this shit before we say, hey, athletes, straighten the F up and start acting like you want to be an ambassador. Like, you're like, I don't know. I'm frustrated with it because I was hoping he would come in, keep his nose clean, and just make the Browns, and all the NFL teams pay for not drafting him. And then you see this, and it's like, yeah, I just wouldn't be surprised if he gets cut now.
And Anthony, here's the deal. You remember, the coach and the GM doesn't want this player. It was the owner that decided to draft him.
Yeah.
So right now, you've got two strikes against you, buddy, because those two don't even want you. Didn't even draft you. It was the owner that told him to draft you. Yeah. And then you pull stuff like this. Not a good optic.
No, definitely agree. And last thing about the NFL, the joint practice schedules have been released. So let's just start right off the bat. Joint practices are absolutely amazing for the media, okay? Because there's always a little controversy, fights, things like this. You are putting professional athletes against each other in a game-like atmosphere where they're going multiple days with each other, and then you don't expect something to happen. Well, then the schedule comes out, and now so many teams are doing this. Some of the notable teams that are having it, I did see the Bears are going to have Miami and the Buffalo Bills come to Lake Forest. Might need to take a trip to Lake Forest to see Buffalo. Minnesota will have New England. A lot of these teams, like we were talking off air, they play close to each other. So, like, the Giants are going to the Jets are going back to the Giants. The Rams are going to the Chargers. Tennessee's going to Tampa Bay. But it's like for about, looks like for about 15 days, there's teams that are playing against each other. What do you think about this?
I think this is going to be the norm, Anthony.
Yeah.
I don't know in my lifetime, but I can see preseason games going away and televising this.
Yep.
It's coming. It is coming. The players don't want to play in the preseason. You know, the owners and charge for tickets. You don't want the owners they won't make as much, but and televise it. Let NFL Network televise a couple of these scrimmages, or CBS or Fox or whoever, ESPN.
Well,
put it on pay-per-view.
1 second. Nobody does pay-per-view anymore, okay? Jesus Christ, that is an old man shit right there.
Yeah, exactly.
We're already paying for all the streaming services. We don't need to pay for pay-per-view. But can you imagine Pat McAfee and his crew doing one-on-ones where the wide receiver and the DB go at it on one-on-one goal line? Yeah. That would be priceless. Priceless. Yeah. And you know what? I would pay that pay-per-view. I would pay that. If there was a pay-per-view for it, I would pay that. I think I do agree with you. I do think this is the new norm. I think preseasons are going to go away. You say in your lifetime, I think it's going to happen within the next 5 years. Because I know Roger Goodell has already stated that, like, he's not a fan of preseason. The fans are not a fan of the preseason. So get rid of it, because we're not going to pay this reduced price to make it to a game where the fourth and fifth strings are playing. Like, I want to watch the guys go at it. So this is your moment. Let's see inside run against, Philadelphia and Baltimore. I want to see inside run of those guys, because that is game-like atmosphere. But I just thought of the Pat McAfee crew and having them doing it. That would be awesome. Yep. I don't want Kurt Warner and the other NFL Network guy. Yeah, it'd be boring as shit. I want Patrick, Dan Patrick, and those guys. Yeah. Like those, I want some people that got humor into it, and then like it would be hilarious to just throw these other groups of people that are on social media. Shit, Cover 2 Cook is available to come do a broadcast of this.
Heck yeah. So what do you think? Even like Charles Barkley.
Yes.
At this, let TNT have it. Don't worry, they got plenty of time now that they're not doing the NBA anymore. So have that group come in. I think that would be hilarious.
And I mean, I even like the thought of like other sports, like you said, basketball there, but like have like Ryan Whitney and Biz that do hockey. Yeah. Have those guys, because they're going to run their mouth and it's going to be hilarious during it. Yeah. But yeah, these joint practices, it does make me, like, when I saw the schedule, kind of look at like what's close enough. I wouldn't care to see Miami and Chicago, but I would like to see Buffalo. I probably won't ever go to a Buffalo Bills game, but to see Josh Allen there would be stupid awesome. I mean, that guy is just a mountain. But yeah, a lot of these teams are close to each other, and we were talking about that, but some are traveling. I mean, Seattle's going to Green Bay. Right. So, and then you have, what was it? Miami's going to Detroit. That's a trip. I mean, that's as if it was like a game, like. But that is all the NFL news we have. Unfortunately, everyone's home. They should be being good right now. So unless someone's doing something stupid, Shooter Sanders, then we're not hearing about it. So we got to talk about the NHL Stanley Cup. I called it on the last podcast. The Panthers was going to win. It's over, blah, blah, blah. Well, I was correct. Panthers went up 2-0 in the first, went 3-0 after Reinhart scores a second goal to end the second. Reinhart would score 2 more goals, so a total of 4 in the third, and Edmonton would get on the board to make it a 5-1 win for Florida. Reinhart scores 4 goals in this game-clinching Stanley Cup. What a hell of a performance. I mean, the first goal was crazy enough when he was like falling and just flopped it up there. Florida goes back-to-back. Sam Bennett wins the Conn Smythe Award.
Really?
I'm going to say this right off the bat. This tells us that we're not hockey fans. Because Sam Bennett wins the Conn Smythe Award after having 15 postseason goals, which is the record now for NHL. I'm not going to lie. I didn't know that, and I wouldn't have known that, but yeah.
So they go by the whole total playoffs, not just the Stanley Cup final.
Yes. Now,
Gotcha.
I will say this. From what I watched, Brad Marchand, if he's not on the Panthers, I think they have a harder time winning the Stanley Cup. I don't know if they don't win it, but I don't think – I mean, I just – when I look at the whole playoffs, Brad Marchand always made a scene of some type, I felt like.
Yep.
But then when you hear Sam Bennett had the record for goals, you're like, yeah, no shit, he got the MVP. Sorry, the Conn Smythe, because they got these weird-ass names.
Yes.
But you think Florida's done having fun? No, they are not. They have now cracked the Stanley Cup, and the bottom is dented. They will have this fixed before their celebration parade on Sunday. Now, you ask, what are you guys doing? Nah, this isn't the first time this has happened. I think the Colorado Avalanches, when they won it last, they actually dropped it on the ice, literally as they were receiving the award, which caused a huge dent. There was another one, I think it was Tampa Bay Lightning. They've broke it. You see these videos as times go on when the players are celebrating. I've seen it at the bottom of a pool before. I've seen it being tossed. I just think of when I heard this today of Tom Brady when he threw the trophy across to the other boat. And people are like, no, you can't do that.
The Lombardi Trophy,
Yes, and it's like, well, hockey players are out here just beating the shit out of the award. They've had it, what, 3 days? 3 days they've dented it and cracked it? Like, and it's not even the first time they've won it. It's literally, they won it the year before. They know what this award is. But congrats to the Florida Panthers. I won our future bet on that one when we made our bets. I put a bet in for Florida Panthers. Too bad Boston is going to win it for me on the basketball side.
Did you you went to Illinois to do that?
Yeah, so I probably shouldn't say what I did, but one day, I had to go out for lunch, so I had to
gotcha.
make a little. It was not on my work grounds, so if you are watching this from my work, it wasn't on the grounds, but I had to be in Illinois, and I'm not in Illinois very often.
And they also seen one more thing about this, that Matthew Tkachuk had a sports hernia.
Yeah.
And scored that goal in that second goal? Right before the first period. End of the first period in game 6. And he has sports hernia and a knee issue or an upper body injury or something. And he's still the hockey players are gotta be the toughest people in sports. I don't care what you say.
I'm gonna say second. I think rugby players are the toughest.
Yeah,
because I will still say this. I think hockey players play with so much pain tolerance that like to do something on ice is crazy. Like we in the Midwest won't even go to our cars because of ice. These guys decide to put on a little shoe and slide around all day. And they think that's fun. Like that's crazy in my mind. Yeah. But like it's so many times where you'll see hockey players smile and they have like 4 teeth in there, and it's like, how do you eat? How do you? Oh, they'll get them eventually, but how do you eat? Like, how do you survive? And that's when we even talked about Connor McDavid last time, that he said, if my leg's attached, I'm playing. And I was like, yeah. I mean, I ran into the cupboard a couple days ago, and I was like, damn it, I'm out for 6 weeks. Like, So, no, hockey players are definitely different, but we kind of saw this one. I will say one other thing I will have to finish with is Edmonton is going to have to make some bold moves to make it again. I think they have to take the playbook from the Florida Panthers. I think next year they have to go out and go get that Brad Marchand. Like the guy that's just more of an enforcer. I know that they didn't come into the Stanley Cup fully healthy, but I think for them to win it, they're going to have to go get that enforcer. And it just allows for Draisaitl and McDavid to just play a little bit more freely instead of
from behind.
Or like when the power plays happen and stuff, they're out. It's like, no, they got to be in. They got to make plays. So that is the NHL. We will not talk about it until next year or the Olympics, because until then, I don't really care. So let's go on to the NBA, which that is another sport that who could give a shit, but we're going to talk about it.
Anthony, we'll get to the finals in a minute. I wanted to say one thing. I seen the Lakers got bought out by I can't think. The guy owns the Dodgers. I can't think of his name right now. But the Lakers they sold the majority of their stake to this guy that owns the Dodgers. It's a very wealthy group.
Yep.
And right now they've been told, they're telling people, we don't care if we go over the luxury tax. We are going to spend and spend and spend. Now, I'm a Lakers fan. I've been a Lakers fan for over 40 years. When I started watching basketball, when they used to have the NBA Finals tape delayed back in 79 and 80. And to see this is kind of a sad day because now that the Buss family doesn't own this team anymore. I mean, they still have stake in it, but not majority owner. And I think you're going to see a lot more of this in the NBA. The Celtics are going through this right now, where it's a group of people that are buying it, and they are very wealthy, very, very wealthy, and they will, spend whatever. I don't know if the Celtics are, but this group does. Magic Johnson's part of the group as well, so that's going to help them. But it is kind of I knew this was coming eventually because they just can't keep up with these bigger. Dallas even did the same thing. They have a group now that owns them, not just one person. And I think you're going to see a lot more of that. That these markets of one owner is not going to be substantial for a long period of time. They just won't be able to do it.
Well, you just saw Minnesota go through it, but I definitely agree with you. It's sad because if you've taken time to watch TV shows, which we're going to talk about our Mount Rushmore TV shows, if you watch the one about the Lakers show or whatever, the Lake show or whatever, and just how Jerry Buss, how he bought them and brought them to the limelight that they are now, and then like his daughter came in, which she wasn't a part of the team. He didn't want her to be a part of it, and then she took over it, and she has done well with them. I mean, she is with what she had. I definitely agree. I think it's sad to see that these one owners are going away, but at the same time, like it's waves. It's waves where people. I'm still surprised that you don't see like the Elon Musk, the owner of Amazon, or whoever the owner of Amazon is. Some of these guys get into it a little bit because they have so much damn money. Yeah, I'm just surprised that they're not putting themselves into it. I know A-Rod's a part of the Timberwolves. Like that's an old player that played different sports. He's in it because of the money he's made. But yeah, definitely sat on the Lakers.
Yeah, and just think of this. Back in 1979, Jerry Buss bought this team for $67.5 million.
Yep.
The other day, they sold majority of the stake for $10 billion with a B, billion. And in 46 years, that's how much of a turnaround it's been. So enough on that. It is sad to see it.
Well, and one last thing I'll say too is it's one of the most recognizable images or team names or team pictures, whatever, because of what they did. I mean, because the Lakers weren't that before, and not that I was alive or anything like that, but like just seeing that documentary, like they were kind of the laughing stock of LA. And now when you think of basketball, it's Boston, it's Chicago, and it's LA. Like it's those three teams that are notable. But yes, give me the NBA Finals.
All right, we got Game 6 tonight. I'm going to give you 3 keys to this game on how much. And the first key, what are you going to get out of Halliburton tonight?
Yep.
He's going to play, but what are you going to get? He can't do like he did in Game 5 where he just stood in the corner and waited for a shot. He's got to be able to deliver. And if he can't, it's going to be the other players that are going to have to step up, like McConnell, like Siakam is really got to step up. And that's the biggest deal. They got to hit threes. That's another key. They got to hit the threes. And for OKC, just keep doing what you're doing. Play defense. And if you can get Jalen Williams to score 40 like he did the other night, that's great. I mean, but I think a person that we haven't talked about, and it's the X factor in this game, Miles Turner.
Yep.
He has not done anything so far. His offense was great early in the playoffs, but he's been shooting around 22% from three-point land. He's got to have a monster game tonight. He has got to have a monster game. He needs to go off for about 20 and be a threat at the three-point land. It's going to be hard, but I think they could do it. I think OKC is going to win this tonight, but I wouldn't be surprised if we have a Game 7 winner take all Sunday night. God, that would be so awesome. but I think it's going to be OKC. I think they got all the momentum. Their defense is stifling right now. I think they've got them figured out. I mean, and it's going to come down to turnovers. You had 22 turnovers Indiana last game. You can't have that. I don't care if you're playing at home or not. I mean, I think OKC's got their defense figured out on them, and I think they're going to be key. I think that ends tonight.
Yeah, I think SG whatever
SGA.
SHG or whatever.
Yeah,
I think he takes over tonight. Like I think he says this. We're not doing this again. We're not having another game. I think he takes over. So you are calling it OKC will be.
I think OKC wins tonight, but I wouldn't be surprised if we get a game 7. I would love to see it, but I don't think it's going to happen. I really don't.
And a Sunday night game 7 would be great too.
Oh my God, yeah. Yes.
All weekend
game. Yeah.
All weekend we're talking about that. So we'll definitely see by Tuesday we'll have a winner. So we'll have the decision on that one. So on Tuesday we will wrap up with talking about the NBA because again we won't talk about that until next year when we actually give a F. So we got to move on to the Mount Rushmore of TV shows. Now I said a caveat to this is you had to have watched it. So first off, I'm going to have you start with your number 1 Mount Rushmore of TV shows.
Number 1, Law and Order.
Oh.
Today, I still watch the show today. I know I've seen every episode, but Jack McCoy as the lead prosecutor is just, it's on right now on Sundance Channel. I have it through DirecTV. Every time it's on Wednesdays and Thursdays, it's on my TV. That show lasted for 22 years, 23 years. In fact, they shut it down, and they just brought it back 2 or 3 years ago with different people. And even Jack McCoy is now back as the head guy of the prosecution. So it is one of my favorites. Every time it's on, I watch it. I think it's awesome.
No, that you can have that one all day. For my number 1 Mount Rushmore TV shows is Peaky fucking Blinders. Peaky Blinders is such a good show. It was one of those things when once it finished, you were like, I need another season. I need it. I can't think of the main actor, but he can't play any other role. He's so good, but he's such a good Peaky Blinder. That one, and I heard they're going to possibly make a movie out of it. That one is so good for me. What is your number 2?
You're talking about people that probably can't. Seinfeld. Okay. I love Seinfeld. Every time that's on, I turn it on. You got Jerry and Elaine and George and, Kramer. Kramer makes the show. Yeah. I mean, his antics and his mannerism when he's moving around, and it is hilarious. Larry David did a heck of a job on it. I mean, he did another heck of a job on Curb Your Enthusiasm, which I've watched bits and pieces of. But that show there with him and Jerry, God, they were so good. It was so good. I think it lasted for, I'd say it seemed like 20 years, but it wasn't. I think it was like 10 or 15. So
yeah, and I would definitely say I think George is my favorite in that one.
Yeah.
And for my number 2 for the list is The Wire on HBO. Great seasons. Honestly, season 1 was amazing. Season 2 kind of goes on a different track, but then they get back to that main group from season 1. Absolutely amazing show. I've watched it so many times. It reminds me of a little bit like Before because it's beepers and pay phones and stuff like that. And then they get into the cell phone game. The Wire is an amazing cop / criminal, show that I think for me. What do you have for your number 3?
Sons of Anarchy. FX, one of FX. I think it put FX on the map as far as their channel. I think this show was awesome. Kurt Sutter as the director. You had, all the characters and cast on that. You had Katie Seagal in there, which is Kurt Sutter's wife. Yep. She played the mama. I can't think of the lead actor that was in that. Ron Perlman was, Jax. Yeah. You had him. And that's one of them, you said that Peaky Blinders can't play anything else. I've seen Jax in other movies. It's just not the same. I'm sorry. That was his character. I know at the end he had a hell of a time getting away from that character because he was so involved with it. But that show it had you every episode at the edge of your seat. Yeah. It was so good. So good.
Yeah. I mean, until Gemma kills his wife, that's still not the. Yeah. For my number 3, and you said FX, this puts on the map. I think this one puts FX on the map, is Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Always Sunny in Philadelphia is so funny. It's to the point now where if my wife turns it on because she knows I can almost name the episode before it starts,
Right.
just a little hint, the gang is majority of the titles, okay? So I can guess based on the first 5 minutes of it. Frank in that is hilarious. Danny DeVito, Charlie, all of them. And the funny part about them is they've went for so long that they've done, Philadelphia's won trophies in either baseball or football or things like that, and they've put their part into the episodes. Hilarious of a TV show, and I can't wait till whatever they come out. I think when Danny DeVito does pass, and there's a day when that comes, and hopefully a long time from now, I think when people are going to be like, Frank was his best role. I know he's played in so many good shows and movies, but Frank was amazing for that one.
If you ever get a chance to watch one episode of Taxi, he was in that TV show. He was good in that too.
Yeah.
He was good in it. But I agree. I think his antics, and I started with watching some of the real, because they're starting to put some of the reels out on Facebook of his own. And I seen a couple of them, and I talked to a guy at work, and Cole, and he just, and he can do the same thing that you can. Just name, which episode within 5 minutes, know the episode. And them reels are hilarious. It's like, why didn't I start watching this a long time ago? I know when we get together sometimes, you'll throw an episode on, and it's just like, oh, that's fucking hilarious. Yeah. It's dry humor. That's all it is. It's just dry humor. You go, oh, fuck, that's hilarious,
Yeah. What is your fourth one and your last one on the Mount Rushmore?
I'm going to still stay with comedy, Big Bang Theory. Sheldon.
Really? Okay.
Yes. Sheldon. Kayla Coco on there. She was, she was really good in it. You had Leonard, you had Raj, you had all them, but Sheldon made the show. Yeah. I mean, his antics and, some of the stuff that he did was just like off the wall. I know he had some of the traits of Osberger that some people said when the show came out, that what his, some of the quirkiness that he has was because of that maybe he has some kind of something with that. I don't know. The producers had said no, that he was we just portrayed him as being a quirky person.
Yeah.
But it's just the idea that, God, that show, every time that's on, I got to at least watch 1 or 2 episodes of it.
Yeah, for my fourth, I'm actually going back with comedy as well, and it's got to be The Office. I mean, Steve Carell, and U.S. edition, obviously. Steve Carell in that, they came out with so many big actors after it. Like, this is Steve Carell's start. This is Jim. I can't think of his name right now. That was his big start before he did Jack Reacher and all these other things.
Right. Pam.
Yep, and then you got Andy. Andy, he came out to do other things as well, too. This show, it's so funny because 3 out of the 4, they got more popular as time went on than they did when they first started. The Office, like on TV, was okay, but like when you're sitting at home needing to watch a show, The Office, and I will say the best episode is when they do the fake fire alarm, and that is still hilarious. Fake CPR and stuff like that. So, what did you have for some honorable mentions?
I had MASH. That's an older kind of show.
Yeah, I knew your old ass would have that one.
All the Family. Okay. Hey, Archie Bunker.
Old.
Could you imagine a TV show like that today?
No.
Oh, no.
It'd get canceled.
No. Yes. Breaking Bad.
Yeah, okay.
And Ozark.
Yeah, I didn't have Ozark, but I did have Breaking Bad. Ozark was definitely a good one. For my honorable mentions, I had Lost on there. I've watched Lost multiple times. Awful ending, but great show. I've never watched it fully through, so I didn't put it on the list, but an honorable mention has to be The Sopranos on there. Yeah. I've never fully watched it through because I know the last episode's so bad. I know it ends awful. So another one I had on there was Game of Thrones. I unfortunately think once you watch it once, it's hard to go back and watch it again because you know how it all ends. But Game of Thrones had you on the edge of your seat. I was trying to think if I had any other ones. But yes, so that's the best one. We will post who, for our list, who has the best list. We want you guys to comment to give us that. But that is episode 110. We talked a little NFL, we talked NHL, NBA, and then we had our Mount Rushmore of TV shows. So please stay tuned. We'll be back next week. We're going to take a little hiatus after this next week, but on Tuesday we'll do some trivia, and Thursday we're coming back with the Mount Rushmore of Sports Movies, 2nd edition. We want to thank all our fans. Follow us on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, all the other whatever things we have. We want to thank you. Have a great weekend, and we will see you on Wednesday.